Days, it seems like we let our thumbs do the talking with more than 500 billion text messages sent over mobile phones last year alone. That's averaging almost 5 billion messages a day. But could all this typing actually lead to injury? ABC 2 News' Cheryl Connor shows us a new condition that some doctors have dubbed texting thumb.
Try as she might, Melissa Marisman can't seem to get away from her BlackBerry.
I'm on my BlackBerry almost all day because for work I use my BlackBerry. At night I'm texting my friends. My boss will even text me in the evening.
But one day her thumb started to hurt.
It gets very achy, it gets stiff, and it actually does hurt to text.
Does that bother you over here?
Turns out Melissa was suffering from repetitive stress injury caused by frequent texting.
And our hands sit there with the cell phone kind of cradled, and we have to flex or bend the thumb or the index finger to such an extreme that that repetitive motion over time gives problems to some of those joints.
A recent study by Virgin Mobile found 3.8 million Britons complain of injuries resulting from text messages. And in one South African school, over half of the students interviewed reported at least one symptom of repetitive stress injury. This doesn't surprise orthopedic surgeon Dr. Kevin Plancher. He says these seemingly small symptoms now could lead to bigger problems in the future.
Repetitive injuries, one, are painful for many patients, and the other is that they can develop over time arthritic conditions.
The injuries are similar to those caused by excessive typing, adds Dr. Leon Benson of the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, but texting affects different joints.
Instead of necessarily getting tendinitis of your wrist or inflammation of your wrist from typing a lot, you can get some symptoms in your fingers because you're working on a little tiny keyboard.
So what's a frequent texter to do? Experts suggest slowing down, taking frequent breaks, and switching up the way you hold your phone or the fingers you use to type with.
And also exercise. You can stretch out your thumbs. You can stretch out your index fingers. You can take that break because they're usually in a cramped position, and being in a cramped position can give you spasm to those areas.
And consider talking instead of typing every once in a while.
My daughter approached me and said her hands were sore, her fingers were hurting because she was texting so much. The first thing I would say is text less frequently, talk to your friends.
Melissa was able to use ice and anti-inflammatory medication to relieve her achy joints, and she's vowed to text more responsibly in the future.
Try to just be a little bit more aware of when I'm texting and I don't need
Bye-bye.
to.
Cheryl Connor, ABC 2 News.
Now, in addition to texting, experts suggest you limit your child's handheld video game use, which requires the same kind of repetitive movements.